Putain, il est malade. Recule. Barre-toi, il arrive. Oh. Look at that. Oh, good. What the fuck is that?
Most solo trips offer peace, but some trigger a primal instinct that you're no longer alone. From a 1930s car rotting in a silent forest to a voice calling your name from the shadows, these moments turn solitude into a survival game. When your gut says run, but the darkness says stay, which one would you trust? A peaceful overnight trip led a solo camper into the woods near Loch Va in the Scottish Highlands on August 18, 2025. The footage was shared on Eleanor Grace Adventures, a YouTube channel focused on solo travel and thoughtful wild camping in remote areas. Near Aviemore, Eleanor entered the forest looking for solitude, only to encounter a silence that felt heavier and more unsettling than expected.
Apparently around here, is a very old and abandoned car. I wanted to come here to find this really creepy abandoned old car. How the hell did they get a car down here? Was it airlifted in? Then I found a little carved off path, so it's got to be around here somewhere. It's got to. I'm looking for it. I'm looking for like a big...
The surroundings appear empty and untouched, far removed from main roads or regular foot traffic. With every step, she moves farther from town and deeper into a space that feels cut off from the outside world, as if the forest itself is holding still.
Hiya, mate. You been here a while, or...?
I've done a fair bit of research on this car, and some things are left together what I found from previous explorers online. This is an Opel Olympia, a 1938 model, which is also a left-hand drive.
There's like a really old tin there.
It was made by the German manufacturer Opel and likely imported from Europe around this time, as this is an earlier model. I'm still unsure of how exactly Opel got here. Yes, I'm giving her a nickname because she deserves one, okay? My guess is that this part of the forest was once easier to reach by car.
While exploring beyond the main path, she discovers something unusual. A vintage Opel Olympia from the late 1930s abandoned deep among the trees. The terrain around it is thick and overgrown with no obvious access route, making its presence seem strangely out of place. Rain begins to pour and dense mist drifts through the forest. Rather than waiting for the weather to pass, Eleanor chooses to enter the loch. As she swims, the woodland remains eerily quiet.
No better time than swimming in the rain. I mean, seriously. Who's in that case? There's just one person here that's swimming in torrential rain, me. And there must be people hiding in trees. Like, what the actual hell is she doing? Woohoo! Your dog is so cute. Really cute.
She's an idiot.
Oh, really? So am I. Don't worry about it. So nice, so happy. Oh, it's peeing it down. Retreat under tree. We've still got a camp. And if this is going to be the weather tonight, I'll always remember this day. That car, I'll always remember that car. I wish I could have camped, like, next to the car.
As evening approaches, parking restrictions force her to relocate to a new spot closer to the trees.
On Google Maps. We've come in further down a little bit and I'm gonna see what I can find here. This is absolutely stunning. You hear the birds? I don't know if you can, my mic's on. Wow. And I am covered by a tree, so hopefully it's actually not too bad.
She sets up her tent while insects gather relentlessly around her. The forest stays unnaturally still, and the silence gradually makes the atmosphere feel uneasy.
What you normally do. Look at the sun coming out, look, between the trees. It's beautiful. Look at the way I'm sat. Hello. This is not attractive, sat like this. I've had to keep dried foods in my car for how long? Because I've been on this trip a while now. And I'm going to have a pot noodle. It's better than nothing. Midgies. Oh, for God's sake, Ellie. I left the sachet in. Come on. Not really. I might have to split this up. Just waiting for my pitter. Now what? This is my first time ever. Now, obviously I've camped a lot, but it's my first time ever camping. Like, I've got a rucksack full of stuff. This is how obviously a lot of wild camping is done. Stir crazy. Again. Sometimes you've just got to listen to yourself. I just know that I wouldn't enjoy it. I'm not going to enjoy this. I'm gonna have to try and figure out a way to do this like where I actually enjoy it, because if I'm not enjoying it and I'm just fidgeting all the time, like sat there for hours in the silence. 2 cars within the space of 2 minutes have just beat me when I was trying to sort out the back of the car. 2 blokes. I just went.
Later that night, after deciding to leave, Eleanor returns to her vehicle and organizes her gear at the back. 2 cars drive past and honk their horns as they pass. The brief but intrusive noise feels unsafe and reinforces her decision to depart. Some viewers see the experience as simple isolation and coincidence, while others note how subtle elements, silence, remoteness, and unexpected attention can alter perception. When nothing appears obviously wrong, how do you determine whether to remain calm or follow your instincts and leave? A filmmaker and urban explorer recognized on YouTube for recording intense investigations, Jasko often ventures into abandoned structures and remote forests, alongside his friends Chris and Ben. However, one site stood out above the rest: the Devil's Forest, a place linked to reports of violence, unexplained deaths, and disappearances. On September 16, 2025, Jasko and Chris camped deep within its boundaries, unaware that the quiet would soon unravel. While walking along a trail, Jasko suddenly heard his name called out in Chris's voice.
I just heard my name being called from down the trail.
The issue was that Chris was nearly a quarter mile away in the opposite direction. What followed would leave Jasko struggling to sleep long after the trip ended.
But Chris is in that direction. Chris? But if he's down there, then... What the f***? Yo! Who's down there? Hello?
This was not Jasko's first unsettling experience there. Years earlier, during a winter visit with Ben, they had camped in the same forest. In the middle of the night, footsteps crunched just outside their tent, and a spirit box had warned of someone approaching.
Scottish.
Moments later, a scream cut through the frozen trees.
Oh, Ben! Yo, what the fuck was that? Yo.
When they investigated, they discovered fresh footprints pressed into a log resting on a frozen lake.
What? Look on that log right there.
Holy...
Ben? Those are feet prints. Look at that. What? No.
The tracks appeared suddenly and stopped without explanation. That night remains unresolved. Back in the present, Jasko had just endured what he described as the most terrifying scream of his life. Soon after, he and Chris were about to confront the deeper legend tied to the Devil's Forest.
Chris?
Yo.
Chris, did you hear that? Someone just break a fucking window? What was that? What was that?
That was so loud.
As they prepared to sleep, a loud noise resembling shattering glass erupted just outside their van. Upon checking, nothing seemed broken or disturbed.
Something there?
I don't know.
But Chris, what would make that glass noise?
I don't know. That's what I'm wondering. It doesn't make sense. It makes no sense.
Is someone out here like messing with us?
The situation escalated moments later.
Only moments later, Jasko and Chris encountered the most terrifying moment they had ever faced.
Chris!
That was
a gunshot.
absolutely...
That was a gunshot. Did you see anything?
There's a light. There's a
What?
fucking light right there.
Oh!
What is that?
Oh, shit!
What is that? There's someone out
Chris,
there?
what the fuck? Yo,
What is that?
yo, there's someone out there. There's someone out there.
There's actually someone... Bro, is that something?
Bro, that's a light. That's a fucking light. It's moving. Chris, it's moving. There's someone outside the van right now.
What are they doing? Oh my God. There actually has been somebody here the whole time.
What the fuck?
From within the trees, a moving light appeared, confirming that someone or something was nearby and circling them.
Bro, if they have a gun and we're fucking hearing shit.
Concerned for their safety, they abandoned the campsite and ran barefoot into the darkness, determined not to stop until they were far from the forest. Whether the events were the result of paranormal activity or human interference remains uncertain. What is clear is that Jasko entered the Devil's Forest twice, and both times he was forced to flee to protect himself and his friends. Their escape suggests that sometimes leaving is the only choice, but not everyone gets that opportunity. That reality became evident when Brendan later found himself trapped as headlights and footsteps surrounded his van. Some believe these incidents point to human threats, while others suspect something far more disturbing. Would you stay to investigate or leave without turning back? Brendan Explores is a channel built around relaxed outings, simple meals and drinks, and peaceful scenery. But on March 19th, 2024, the trip shifted in a way he hadn't expected. The trouble began before the adventure truly got underway. The night was freezing. Cars sped through the area, and motorhomes arrived and departed long after midnight. Brennan drifted in and out of sleep, shivering as he waited for sunrise to warm the van. By morning, everything looked calm. Frost coated the roof, sunlight slowly spread across the landscape, and there was finally a chance to breathe. The day started as planned. Breakfast was cooked, gear was packed away, and after a few lighthearted moments with Steve, they set off toward the B-52 crash site. The route quickly became demanding.
Well, you can definitely tell we're getting higher. There's a little bit of snow on the peaks here. I dare say it, and this is not, I repeat, not for dramatic effect, but we haven't seen another sign yet. We saw the one sign at the very start of the trail. We're slipping and sliding everywhere. Hopefully we get, give me a sign!
Ice patches, thick, mud-soaked boots, and long stretches of trail made progress slow. Even seasoned hikers they met along the way cautioned that the conditions would make the journey especially tough. Eventually, Brendan decided to turn back.
With the temperatures being sub-zero right now, even though the sun's shining, it is a cold day. I've now got wet feet. I know from previous experience, from doing various different things in my youth, with at least 3 or 4 miles to go, would be a pretty silly decision for my health. So it's not very often I turn back. I didn't feel safe going forward, and I think you have to be honest with yourself and actually look at what's going to come if things go wrong.
With temperatures below freezing wet feet and hazardous ground, still miles ahead, pushing forward could have jeopardized his health. It wasn't an easy call, but safety mattered more. The day slowed again. Brendan wandered through Bakewell, bought pastries, filmed briefly, and later drove to a quiet hillside spot to camp. It seemed perfect for a peaceful evening. After nightfall, the atmosphere changed. As Brendan settled in, something hit the roof of his partner's van hard enough to jolt him awake.
You alright, mate?
Yeah. And there's a car. Did you have it as well?
Yeah.
Like a.
Yeah.
Well, I'm looking at you, mate. They were bit by the van. I don't know what he's doing up there. He's the one
Hang on.
worrying me a little bit.
Yeah, hang on.
I've got something to say.
What time is it?
You stay away from my van.
Honestly, when I heard that car go past, what were they doing?
I don't know, but we've got somebody up there who's got a big spotlight on. He's our problem, because he's just driving backwards and forwards. If you look, right, is there someone up there?
That scared the living daylights out of me.
Wow, I just banged my roof, I did then.
Jesus.
Shortly afterward, a small van drove past. Then a Land Rover followed both, moving slowly, as if circling the area. Later, headlights appeared on the ridge above. A vehicle sat still with its engine-off beams pointed directly toward the campsite, neither approaching nor leaving, just watching.
So what are they playing at up there then?
Is that light up there?
It's just stalking us.
It's if it's sitting up there with the headlights on.
Yeah, like whether it's a vehicle or not. Well, it's definitely a vehicle because I heard it.
Yeah, I heard it. It was a little, Ford Connect van.
Well, why is this just stood there or
That's what I'm trying
sat
to
there
work
like
out,
stalking?
mate. If you stand here, right, it looks like there's two.
When it finally moved on, Brendan launched a drone to survey the hillside. Instead of reassurance,
It revealed something more unsettling.
Apologies if you guys can't really see much because of how dark it is, but there's definitely something or someone at the brow of that hill.
Yeah. See, it's picking up something.
Yeah.
It's like, mate, it's a fire. Look at the heat off. Look at the glow off it.
The hell are they doing setting fires at this time of night? Car's gone past twice.
What, so we have two vehicles.
Yeah.
Go past. One was a van, definitely a little van.
Yeah.
And the other was,
Land Rover.
yeah,
the footage showed a large fire burning in the distance, with no visible people nearby and no clear explanation. Despite everything, they remained overnight. Neither felt comfortable. Steve repeatedly checked outside while Brendan stayed in his van with the heater running waiting for morning. What was meant to be a calm night in a quiet location became one of the most unsettling experiences Brendan had filmed. Some believe distant onlookers were responsible, while others suspect something stranger. If you were there, would you wait for daylight or drive away immediately?
What was that? What was that? What was that? Come on, torch.
On October 27th, 2024, the YouTube channel Grizzly Guys launched a live stream from Wycombe Forest, a secluded woodland near Scarborough, known for prehistoric burial mounds, long-running rumors, and unresolved stories connected to bodies found there years ago. The investigation began near the overgrown mounds called the Three Trembler Urns, where previous visitors had claimed to see a tall, shadowy figure disappear between the trees.
First, let's go and have a look at these burial mounds, and also where there's been sightings of dogmen. Over by that steel cage over there, a worker saw a large black, he claims that it was around 7 feet tall, with broad shoulders and a dog-like muzzle. And when his friend from the van shouted him, he turned around, and when he turned back, the figure had disappeared. Now, believe it or not, our prehistoric burial mound called the Three Trembler Urns. It's a bit overgrown. You wouldn't think so, just by looking at it. You'd think that it was just a little hill. 3 of these, one here that I'm stood on, one there, and another one over there.
As daylight faded, the forest grew unnaturally quiet. No wind, no insects, no typical nighttime ambience, causing the explorer to lower his voice and move carefully.
Really quiet. Normally, when I'm in some woods, I can hear some noise in the background because in the UK, woodlands, they're not that far from civilization. Wycombe Forest is absolutely humongous. Look at this little seating area. Look at that view. Oh, it's beautiful. Golden hour as well, look. Wonder what that ridge is over there. Seems oddly out of place. I take comfort in places like these that are miles away from civilization, and the documentaries that I've watched on this place, I'm not looking forward to tonight, if I'm honest. And you might have noticed that I'm also keeping my voice down and trying not to attract attention. Maybe that's a good thing, because I might get to see something.
After dark, heavy movement echoed through the woods, branches snapping as something seemed to move alongside him rather than away.
Let you see it though. Don't know what type of deer it was, and that's why I was able to see it. I just heard something crashing, so that could have been what that guy saw and heard. They were keeping up with the van anyway, flying through them woods. I've got a game plan. Wait till it gets dark and drive around this place and set up like a temporary camp and maybe walk around in the places looking to see if we can find out. Loads and loads of roads that come through here. It's like veins going all the way through.
Deep rumbling sounds followed along with sudden flashes of light that briefly appeared between the trees before vanishing.
I don't know what it is though. Can you hear it? Sounds like an elephant blowing its trunk. You know, like, remember Street Fighter 2? There was definitely something in there then. Fireworks in the background. All my hairs are standing up on end and everything. But I definitely heard a stick breaking there. Could just be deer or a bird.
Attempts to dismiss the activity as wildlife provided little reassurance as the noises continued and the atmosphere became more oppressive.
Did you see it? We pointed over there or what? thought that were a deer head then, but it's not, it's a log. Don't know if I saw something flash over there, or if it's just my eyes playing tricks on me. Mate, don't be running off too far, mate. Don't want you getting snatched up by the boogeyman. I did see light over there. Can't tell what it is though. If I move my watch out way, can you see it through the trees? It's gone now. Could just be deer eye shine, could be a reflectant marker put there by.
When police vehicles unexpectedly began driving along the forest roads, their presence raised as many questions as answers, increasing the feeling that something wasn't right.
Shat me pants. Police. That was police, that. I think that's the car that actually went up. What police are patrolling round in here for? It's getting stranger and stranger this night. You know, I don't know how I feel about police patrolling in here. On the one hand, I feel safe because police are patrolling. And if I get into any trouble, I've got people that are willing to help. And on the other hand, why are they patrolling?
As the night progressed, repeated sounds from behind and to the sides forced him to retreat into his van, locking the doors and listening through a slightly open window.
But we'll just push through it, push through that fear. I have to keep stopping and looking behind me every now and again because I obviously can't hear much while I'm walking. I don't want out creeping up on me. Now I don't normally drive around with all the doors locked, but today, well tonight, I've got all the doors locked and all the windows up. Even our Fendi's quieter than usual. You'll have probably heard her every time we're in van. But maybe she's heard the stories as well. I'm just going to sit here for a little bit. I'm going to crack a window so I can hear.
Even while preparing to leave, movement in the darkness appeared to trail him, leaving him mentally and physically drained by morning.
What was that? What was that? What was that? Come on, torch. I am sure I've just seen something over there. Something moved over there. I'm gonna have to steer. Fendi, stay there. Right. Well, I think it's bedtime now. I am absolutely shattered, mentally and physically drained, and our Fenzel's legs aren't doing so well. We've been walking that much. If you don't hear from me again, that means I've been eaten. Like the video, subscribe.
The footage demonstrates how dense forest can become far more dangerous. After sunset, when visibility decreases, sounds echo unpredictably and familiar landmarks disappear. In places like this, how many warning signs should appear before staying overnight becomes a serious risk. YouTube creator Rody was living out of his 2003 Tacoma with a camper shell when late one night he pulled into a quiet parking lot to sleep. Around 100 a.m. he woke up to the sound of footsteps circling his truck and through the tinted windows noticed a man taking pictures near the vehicle, likely aiming at the license plate. The individual did not appear to be security and seemed unaware that someone was inside. Moments later, a flashlight beam swept across the glass, prompting Rody to hit the window, which caused the man to run off between parked cars. Afterward, Rhodey discovered that one of the doors hadn't been fully closed, leaving a small gap that may have made the truck seem unattended or easy to access.
Real quick, look at my door right here, and you'll notice it's a little bit cracked up. And so I think what happened is I forgot to, I didn't forget, but I just didn't close it all the way when I went to bed. And so it was locked, still not totally closed all the way. So this is kind of how my door was. You can see it's closed. There's a little gap. I mean, it's locked, but it's definitely noticeable from the side and everything.
The situation demonstrates how minor oversights can quickly make a parked vehicle a target, especially late at night in isolated spots, highlighting the need for careful parking choices and double-checking all entry points before going to sleep. If it were your vehicle, where would you decide to park and rest? On a freezing night in January 2020, a man and his friend were traveling down an empty dirt road in Quebec when their headlights revealed a motionless figure ahead.
Vas-y, avance-toi un peu pour voir. Ouais, bah, pas trop non plus. Ouais, attends, il a rien.
Ouais, tu fais quoi là?
Oh, gamin, rentre chez toi!
Allez là, dégage.
Regarde, je vais écrire ça à la face.
Allez, vas-y, voilà.
As they got closer, the individual seemed to be holding a chainsaw, leading the driver to quickly turn the vehicle around and escape without hesitation.
Putain, il est malade. Recule, reste pas. Barre-toi, il arrive. Oh putain, c'est quoi ça? Whoa.
The situation demonstrates how exposed drivers can be on remote roads after dark, where poor visibility and unexpected danger leave almost no time to respond, making fast decisions and immediate retreat the safest choice. On November 16th, 2025, the YouTube channel 401 Files released a video recorded deep within the North York moors, capturing what started as a peaceful solo hammock camping trip.
Hi guys, thank you for joining me back here again on the channel. In this video, I'm going to be spending a solo night in one of the UK's most notorious hotspots for strange phenomena. Please do kick back, relax, and enjoy. So I think the first point of call is to get in these woods and get the tarp up as quick as possible, because although the morning has started out quite bright, quite sunny,
in a remote stretch of woodland, after setting up camp during a bright and quiet afternoon, the creator reflected on a previous visit when he observed unusual movement among the trees, a large human-shaped silhouette that seemed to glide smoothly across the forest floor rather than walk.
Caught by something moving in the woods, and so it was like a side profile of a large man. The weirdest thing about the whole situation is how it was moving, like a treadmill. Like it was just sitting there, and it was like an escalator, like you go to those airports where you can like stand, and it was basically gliding across in the deep woods, 10 to 15 feet approximately into the woods. Large man size profile, just basically gliding.
As evening settled in, the atmosphere changed, and the woods felt heavier and less inviting.
love and light. What do you want from me, man? That's weird, because you guys can't actually see Lily in this shot. I can assure you, there is a dog there, making me look like a right fool. Just come into the shot so people can see you and know that I'm not crazy. Come on. There you are. Right, we're there. I'm pretty sure people want to see you more anyway. Where are you? There you are. Oh, see you then. Should have stirred it. So anyway, Lil, tell me about your day. How's your day been? Been up to much?
While stepping away from camp, a low, unfamiliar groaning sound carried through the trees, resembling audio he had recorded months earlier, but never managed to identify.
The action camera will be. What the hell was that? Out of all the places I've come to explore in my life, the North Yorkshire Moors provides the weirdest sounds. In fact, I was back up here a few weeks back. I heard something creepy as hell. If I've got the footage, still, the video never came to light. I don't know why. Something happened with storage. There was some technical issue where I had to start deleting a load of things. So the video never got wrapped up, but I kept the important footage. And if I can find them throughout my album right now, I'll paste them in on this video so you guys can hear it right now. What is that? Over the years, people have asked me about like tree structures and what I think of tree structures. Do I believe that they are made by some kind of interdimensional?
The night progressed with sudden noises, quick movement in the brush, and a steady feeling of being observed ending when something rushed past close enough to leave him visibly shaken.
Lily, come. Lily, come. Did you guys see that? What the hell? A rabbit just literally ran. I thought it was Lily at first. What the hell? Lily, come. Yeah, sorry guys. This face that I'm talking about right now, like I've said, it could be two friends out on a hike. One of the friends sees something off in the distance that the other friend doesn't see. Now, the friend that didn't see, when they look at their friend after the sighting, they say that their face is frozen in fear. This would be absolutely terrifying, right? Their face, their jaw is...
Even after the forest grew silent again, the fear lingered.
Dense woods between the trees. Because people have seen Bigfoot, people have seen these extraterrestrial beings. It's almost like gliding along the floor, through the trees, at high speed. Something that can move with that much ease, without any restriction, without any friction towards the ground at all. And that in itself would be enough to just want to fall on the floor and curl up in a ball. But then why do they have legs? If they can glide across the forest floor, if they can, you know, manipulate the elements somehow, why have legs at all? I have no answers for this. I have no answers, but I pray that I don't ever see the day where something creepy as hell is moving through the forest like that to me, because that would be gay.
In remote settings like this, remaining alert, avoiding unnecessary movement, and being prepared to leave early can be the safest option when uncertainty starts to build. What would you do? A UK exploration channel ventured into a remote woodland, scattered with deteriorating structures following faint paths that led to a concealed caravan tucked among the trees.
I get the feeling like I'm like scared that there's going to be someone living in it. This is weird. It's just a shadow. There's a mannequin in there. Is there a mannequin in there?
Stick the camera in that hole.
Oh my god. Are they mannequins wearing Nazi uniforms? Where the fuck are you?
What is going on? I've got a weird feeling. But then again, you've got these, which are normally used for hunting, because you'll have like seed at the bottom to bring in wildlife. We did hear some shooting going on earlier.
Right, that's a really old stone circle. Well, actually, I don't know how long moss.
It takes a long time for moss to grow and stuff, yeah.
So that's been there years.
Satanism.
In a nearby shed, they discovered mannequins dressed in aged military uniforms positioned in a way that seemed intentional rather than forgotten. Clear signs of ongoing human presence made the sight increasingly unsettling, and when a sudden gunshot rang out through the forest, they chose to leave at once.
Norton? Did you hear that gunshot? That was loud as fuck. I'm getting out of here.
Experiences like this demonstrate why isolated areas showing unexplained human activity require caution, where putting distance between yourself and the location is often safer than digging deeper. If you found a place that felt occupied yet unseen, would you remain or leave while you still had the chance? Henry was camping along a quiet river when he began live streaming and spotted movement on the opposite shore.
Miren cómo le hace, ve. Dios. Miren. A la madre, miren raza. No mames. Ay, este calofrío me dio, güey. Ya se bajó, ya se bajó. Miren, se bajó, se bajó, se bajó. Miren, 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 miren. Se bajó, miren. Dios, raza. Dios. Miren, miren, miren. Ya no está parada, miren. Miren, 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 miren. Miren la raza, Dios mío.
For a brief second, a shape stood upright in the light, its silhouette strangely human, before lowering onto all fours and appearing to be a goat, though its posture and motion still seemed unusual to many viewers. From a scientific perspective, low lighting distance and camera angles can easily distort perception, causing animals to look unnatural. But if it wasn't just a visual illusion and something truly moved in a way it shouldn't have, what do you think was actually there?
That's it for tonight. Which moment creeped you out the most? Drop it in the comments. Have your own story? Share it with us,
and stay tuned. The next one is even darker.